Welcome the Spicy Lady. People are not defeated by what they don't know. They are often defeated by what they think they know. Have you ever noticed how quickly people make up their minds about someone? A quiet woman asks a few questions, listens more than she speaks, and suddenly people assume she is inexperienced, unaware, or easy to outsmart. It happens every day that we judge confidence by appearance, intelligence by volume, and strength by how much attention a person attracts. The SpicyLady-Sigma challenges all of those assumptions. What makes her fascinating is not that she tries to prove people wrong. In fact, she often allows others to underestimate her. While everyone is busy forming opinions, she is observing, learning, and connecting details that most people completely miss. The result is surprising. The very people who dismissed her are often the ones caught off guard when she sees through situations, predicts outcomes, or makes a move nobody expected. This is not about manipulation or playing mind games. It is about understanding human behavior, recognizing patterns, and knowing when silence can reveal more than words ever could. I end this video. We'll explore the deeper traits that make the SpicyLady-Sigma so difficult to read, and why people often mistake her awareness for naivety. Stay with us until the end because each point builds on the last, and together they reveal a perspective that most people never see coming. Now, let's begin. Number 1, she lets people misjudge her on purpose. Most people rush to correct false assumptions. She doesn't. Most people cannot stand being misunderstood. The second someone makes a wrong assumption about them, they rush to explain themselves. They want to set the record straight. The SpicyLady-Sigma often does the opposite. She understands something that many people learn far too late in life. The way people treat you when they think you have no power reveals who they really are. When someone assumes she is naive, inexperienced, or unaware, she does not immediately jump in to correct them. Instead, she pays attention. She watches how they speak, how they behave, and what they reveal when they believe there are no consequences. Think about a workplace meeting. Everyone is focused on impressing each other. One person talks the most. Another constantly reminds everyone of their achievements, and someone else quietly dismisses the ideas of others. The SpicyLady-Sigma notices all of it. While others are busy managing their image, she is learning who can be trusted and who cannot. What makes this powerful is that people often become careless when they feel superior. They reveal information they normally would not share. They expose their weaknesses, their insecurities, and sometimes even their hidden motives. They believe they are one step ahead, not realizing they are providing a complete map of how they think. This does not come from manipulation. It comes from patience. She knows that understanding people is often more valuable than being understood by them. Many of life's biggest mistakes happen because people react too quickly. They defend themselves too quickly. They speak too quickly. They reveal too much too soon. The SpicyLady-Sigma understands that every situation does not require an immediate response. Sometimes the smartest move is to let people believe whatever they want for a little while longer. Because while they are busy judging her, she is busy learning about them. And in the end, knowledge almost always becomes an advantage. By the time others realize they underestimated her, she already understands a game they have been playing from the very beginning. Number 2, she knows that arrogant people create their own blind spots. The more convinced someone is of their superiority, the less carefully they observe. Point one of the most fascinating things about arrogance is that it often defeats itself. People usually think arrogance is a sign of strength. They see someone who is overly confident, speaks with certainty, and acts as though they have all the answers. On the surface, it can look impressive. But the SpicyLady-Sigma understands something many people miss. The moment a person becomes convinced they know everything, they stop learning. And when they stop learning, they stop seeing. Arrogant people often walk through life with invisible blind spots. They assume they already understand the situation, already know the people around them, and already know what is going to happen next. Because of this, they stop paying attention to details that could completely change the outcome. Imagine a manager who believes he is the smartest person in the office. He dismisses suggestions from others because he assumes they have nothing valuable to offer. Over time, he misses important ideas, overlooks talented people, and fails to notice problems developing right in front of him. His confidence becomes the very thing that weakens him. The spicy Lady Sigma takes a different approach. She never assumes she has the full picture. She stays curious. She observes. She listens. She pays attention to small details that others ignore because they think they already know enough. This is why she often sees opportunities before anyone else does. While arrogant people are busy proving themselves right, she is busy gathering information. While they are making assumptions, she is noticing patterns. While they are focused on their own importance, she is focused on understanding reality. And reality has a way of humbling people who stop paying attention. The truth is, many people lose not because they lack intelligence, but because they become too certain of it. They stop questioning. They stop observing. They stop growing. The spicy Lady Sigma understands that wisdom begins where arrogance ends. She knows there is always something more to learn, something more to notice, and something more to understand. That mindset becomes her advantage, because long before others realize they miss something important, she has already seen it coming. Number 3, she understands that intelligence doesn't need an audience. Many people perform intelligence. She applies it. Point one of the biggest misconceptions in life is that intelligent people always look intelligent. Many people imagine intelligence as someone who always has the perfect answer, dominates every conversation, or constantly reminds others how much they know. The spicy Lady Sigma sees through that illusion. She understands that real intelligence is not about impressing people. It is about solving problems, making sound decisions, and seeing things that others overlook. While some people are busy trying to appear smart, she is focused on being effective. Think about how often people turn simple conversations into competitions. Someone shares an idea, and another person immediately tries to prove they know more. Someone tells a story, and another person interrupts with a bigger story. It becomes less about understanding and more about showing off. The spicy Lady Sigma rarely gets pulled into that game. She knows that knowledge does not become more valuable simply because it is announced to everyone. In fact, some of the smartest people she has met are often the ones who spend more time listening than talking. Imagine a team facing a difficult problem at work. Everyone is throwing around complicated solutions using impressive words and trying to sound like the expert in the room. Meanwhile, she quietly notices a simple issue everyone missed. She points it out, and suddenly the entire problem becomes easier to solve. That is the difference. Many people want credit for being smart. She wants results. She also understands something deeply human. People are often so focused on proving their intelligence that they stop learning. They become attached to looking knowledgeable instead of becoming more knowledgeable. The spicy Lady Sigma never falls into that trap. She asks questions. She stays curious. She remains open to new information even when she already knows a lot. That humility becomes a strength. At the end of the day, intelligence is not measured by how many people admire your mind. It is measured by how well you use it. While others are performing intelligence for an audience, she is applying it in ways that quietly change outcomes. And more often than not, those outcomes speak far louder than words ever could. Number 4, she knows that intelligence is often mistaken for simplicity. Truly intelligent people frequently make complex things look easy. Point one of the strangest things about intelligence is that people often fail to recognize it when they see it. Many people expect intelligence to look complicated. They expect long explanations, fancy words, endless theories, and impressive displays of knowledge. If something sounds complex, they assume it must be smart. If something sounds simple, they often dismiss it. The spicy Lady Sigma understands that reality works differently. She knows that true intelligence is not about making simple things sound complicated. It is about making complicated things understandable. That takes a level of clarity that many people never develop. Think about the best teacher you ever had. Chances are they did not confuse you with complicated language. They took difficult ideas and explained them in a way that made perfect sense. What seemed impossible suddenly became clear. That is not simplicity. That is mastery. The same principle applies to life. Imagine a group of people trying to solve a difficult problem. Everyone is offering complicated solutions. The discussion becomes longer, more confusing, and more stressful. Then someone quietly points out a simple answer that solves the issue in minutes. Most people focus on the simplicity of the answer. They fail to appreciate the intelligence required to find it. The spicy Lady Sigma sees this happen all the time. Because she often communicates clearly and avoids unnecessary drama, some people underestimate the depth of her thinking. They mistake calmness for a lack of insight. They mistake clarity for a lack of intelligence. They assume that because she makes things look easy, they must have been easy in the first place. What they do not see is the observation, experience, and careful thinking happening beneath the surface. The truth is, confusion is common. Clarity is rare. Anyone can make a situation more complicated. It takes wisdom to simplify it without losing what matters. That is why the spicy Lady Sigma rarely feels the need to impress people with how much she knows. She understands that intelligence is not measured by how complicated you sound. It is measured by your ability to see through complexity and find what others miss. And eventually, results reveal what appearances cannot. The people who once mistook her simplicity for a lack of depth often become the same people wondering how she saw the answer long before everyone else did. Number 5. Her greatest advantage is that she doesn't need others to believe in her. This is what ultimately surprises everyone. She is not powered by approval, applause, or recognition. This is the trait that confuses people the most. Many people move through life waiting for permission. They wait for encouragement before taking action. They wait for support before pursuing a goal. They wait for others to recognize their potential before they fully commit to themselves. The spicy Lady Sigma thinks differently. She understands that if you depend on other people's belief to fuel your progress, your future will always be tied to their opinions. And opinions are some of the most unreliable things in the world. People often doubt what they do not understand. History is filled with examples of individuals who were dismissed before they were respected. Before success becomes visible, it usually looks like uncertainty to everyone else. Before achievement arrives, all people see is effort. The spicy Lady Sigma knows this. That is why she does not waste time trying to convince everyone that her plans will work. She understands that explanations rarely change minds. Results do. Imagine someone who decides to start a business, learn a new skill, or completely change the direction of their life. Friends may question them. Family members may not see the vision. Some people may even laugh at the idea. Most individuals would feel discouraged and begin doubting themselves. The spicy Lady Sigma keeps going, not because she is stubborn, but because she knows that the early stages of growth are often invisible. Seeds grow underground long before anyone sees a tree. What makes her different is that she does not treat skepticism as a stop sign. She treats it as background noise. While others spend months seeking approval, she spends those months improving. While others are explaining their ambitions, she is working on them. While others are hoping to be acknowledged, she is building something worth acknowledging. This mindset gives her a powerful advantage. People who rely on constant praise often slow down when the praise disappears. People who rely on recognition often lose motivation when recognition is delayed. The spicy Lady Sigma is different because her commitment comes from within, and that is why she surprises people. By the time others finally recognize her capability, she is already far ahead. The decision has been made, the work has been done, and the outcome is already unfolding. The greatest irony is that she never needed their belief in the first place. While they were deciding whether she could succeed, she was busy succeeding. Number 6, she understands the difference between being nice and being easy to manipulate. This distinction confuses many people. Her kindness is genuine, but her boundaries are deliberate. One of the most misunderstood qualities in today's world is kindness. Many people assume that a kind person is automatically weak. They believe that if someone is patient, respectful, understanding, or compassionate, that person can easily be pushed around. The spicy Lady Sigma knows how dangerous that assumption can be. She understands a truth that many people spend years learning the hard way. Being kind and being easy to manipulate are not the same thing. In fact, they are often complete opposites. The spicy Lady Sigma treats people with respect because it reflects her character, not because she is afraid of confrontation. She listens when others speak. She gives people the benefit of the doubt. She tries to understand situations before rushing to judgment. But none of this means she allows others to take advantage of her. This is where many people get confused. They meet someone who is calm, considerate, and patient, and they assume that person has no limits. They assume they can make unreasonable demands, cross boundaries, or take more than they give. What they fail to realize is that kindness without boundaries becomes self-sacrifice, and the SpicyLady-Sigma refuses to live that way. Think about the person who is always willing to help friends during difficult times. They answer calls, offer support, and show up when needed. But when she is the one struggling, they are suddenly too busy, too tired, or nowhere to be found. At first, she tells herself they are just having a rough time. Then she notices the pattern. The friendship only works when she is the one giving. The same dynamic plays out in families, workplaces, and romantic relationships. The person who always says yes often becomes everyone's go-to for favors. But very few people stop to ask whether she is carrying too much weight alone. This is when her perspective on kindness shifts. She realizes that healthy generosity includes wisdom. It knows when to give and when to step back. It helps others without letting them become dependent on her energy. It cares deeply but never surrenders her own peace. She also learns that saying no is not selfish. Every time she agrees to something draining, she sacrifices her own time, peace, and personal growth. As she matures, she stops feeling guilty for setting clear limits. She knows genuine people will value both her kindness and her boundaries. They will never demand unlimited access to her life or emotional energy. That reveals a powerful truth. Boundaries do not erase kindness. They make every act of care more meaningful. Her generosity comes from choice, not obligation, and it only reaches people who truly appreciate her instead of those who merely take what they can get. Number 7. She watches reactions more than actions. Actions can be rehearsed. Reactions are harder to fake. Most people spend their lives judging others by what they choose to show. They listen to polished promises, admire well-curated presentations, and believe carefully crafted public images. The SpicyLady-Sigma takes a different approach. She knows that planned actions can be scripted and rehearsed. People memorize what to say, prepare impressive stories, and curate how they appear around others. With enough effort, anyone can create a fake version of themselves for public view. But reactions happen spontaneously, in the split second of surprise, criticism, disappointment, or conflict. These unfiltered moments reveal far more about a person's core character than months of controlled, performative behavior. For example, imagine someone who constantly talks about being patient and emotionally mature. On the surface, they seem calm and balanced. But the moment a minor inconvenience arises, they snap and lash out. That raw reaction breaks the image they spent months building. The SpicyLady-Sigma pays close attention to these small, unguarded moments. How do they respond when criticized? How do they treat service staff who have nothing to offer them? How do they handle loss or unmet expectations? How do they act when nobody is watching their behavior? Anyone can be polite and confident when everything goes their way. Character only reveals itself under pressure, conflict, or letdown. This does not mean she judges people harshly over one single bad reaction. Everyone has off days and emotional slip-ups. She watches for consistent patterns instead of isolated incidents. Repeated outbursts, entitlement, or bitterness are clear signs of unresolved inner flaws. Over time, she rarely gets fooled by surface charm or perfect social personas. While others are impressed by rehearsed speeches, she reads the truth hidden in their split-second reactions. Those spontaneous responses tell you who someone truly is, long before their planned words ever could. Number 8, she knows that patience is a competitive advantage. Most people sabotage themselves through impatience. In a world that glorifies constant speed, patience is often mislabeled as weakness. Society pushes people to act fast, make instant decisions, reply immediately, and chase every opportunity without pause. Many rush into relationships, jobs, risky choices, and hasty conclusions just to avoid the discomfort of waiting. The SpicyLady-Sigma sees the danger in rushing every choice. Impulsivity creates most of life's biggest regrets. Think about how many people broadcast their goals the second they form them. They talk endlessly about their big plans before putting in consistent work. The excitement of sharing their dream replaces the discipline needed to build it. The spicy Lady Sigma chooses silence and action instead. She lets progress unfold before announcing anything to others. Unfinished ideas attract unsolicited opinions, unnecessary doubt, and distracting pressure. All things she avoids by waiting to share results. Patience also lets her accurately judge people's true character. Many jump to trust someone after one pleasant conversation. She takes weeks or months to observe consistent behavior. Surface charm hides flaws, but time always exposes a person's real priorities and habits. The same logic applies to opportunities. Others jump at the first offer out of fear of missing out. She pauses to gather full context, weigh risks, and wait for the complete picture before committing. Patience creates emotional space between a triggering event and your final choice. When people react instantly, fear, excitement, or anger cloud their judgment. Waiting gives room for logic and wisdom to lead decisions instead of raw emotion. While everyone else rushes to pick sides, make quick judgments, or lock into bad opportunities, she quietly collects full context. By the time others realize they acted too fast, she already has clear understanding of every situation. Understanding always beats hasty speed in the long run. Number 9, she understands that people tell you who they are repeatedly. The problem is that most people keep waiting for a different answer point. One of the most valuable lessons the spicy Lady Sigma learns: people's repeated actions always reveal their true identity. Most clues about a person's character are visible early on, yet many people choose to ignore them. Common red flags that show consistent patterns: constantly breaking promises, shifting blame, only reaching out when they need favors, speaking poorly of others behind their backs. These are not one-time accidents. They are consistent habits that define who they are. Still, people convince themselves it was a one-time misunderstanding. They cling to hope that the person will change, focusing on potential instead of proven behavior. They grow attached to the version of someone they wish existed, not the version that stands in front of them. The spicy Lady Sigma avoids this mistake. A single mistake does not condemn a person, but repeated patterns act as undeniable evidence. Take a friend who cancels plans over and over again. The first or second time can be excused. After countless repeats, the pattern becomes obvious. They do not prioritize your connection. She does not keep making excuses for their choices. This clarity protects her from endless disappointment. While others keep giving unlimited second chances to people who repeatedly let them down, she adjusts her expectations, trust levels, and access to her personal life. She stops being shocked by repeated hurtful behavior because she already read the consistent signs months earlier. Words and empty promises can sound convincing, but repeated actions cannot be argued away. She accepts the reality others refuse to see, which lets her make far healthier, less painful life choices. As we come to the end of this discussion, one thing becomes clear. The spicy Lady Sigma is often misunderstood because people judge only what they see on the surface and overlook deeper, more powerful inner qualities. They see patience and mistake it for passivity. They see kindness and mistake it for weakness. They see simplicity and mistake it for lack of intelligence. They see silence and assume nothing meaningful is happening beneath the surface, what they fail to grasp. Many of life's most powerful strengths are never loud or obvious at first glance. The spicy Lady Sigma does not waste energy controlling others' opinions of her. Her focus lies in reading people, decoding situations, and making choices rooted in reality instead of shallow appearances. While everyone around her chases social status, surface charm, and instant first impressions, she studies hidden motives, consistent patterns, and long-term consequences. This lesson applies to every person, not only the spicy Lady Sigma. Humans have a natural habit of jumping to conclusions and underestimating anyone who does not fit their preset expectations. That automatic judgment creates endless avoidable mistakes. The spicy Lady Sigma teaches us wisdom is usually quiet, far deeper than most people imagine. By the time others fully see who she truly is, they realize the person they wrote off as naive has been watching, learning, and planning the entire time. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.